Hey guys, it's Maymay, and there's something you don't know about me. I lose my keys all the time, and I need a place to keep my keys. And I'm also trying to come up with neat, quick, inexpensive gifts that you can make for your friends and family this season. Well, when Tupelo Design sent me my last design package, these guys were in it. Do you remember these? And as soon as I saw them, I was like, I know exactly what I'm doing with these because I need it. And also, I think it'll make a cool gift. So all you're going to need is these, some sort of, like I'm using these as the focal point, these little locks, which I love. I'm going to use these keys. These are from Graphic 45, and you can get these on Tupelo Designs LLC's website. And recognize these guys? These are the bags that they wrap their product in when you order, but you can also order these from their website. I'm going to use these. I'm also going to use some cup hooks. Now, I picked these up at my local Dollar General yesterday, and these are just some 1 1/4 inch cup hooks. They don't have to be this big. You could do smaller ones, but this is the only ones that they had, and so I just grabbed what they had. And a canvas. Now, I got my canvas at Hobby Lobby on clearance after Christmas last year. I just stocked up on a whole bunch of them. But here's what I like about it. I've got some extra wood back here because I'm actually going to send those cup hooks through this bottom portion. So that's going to matter for me. So when you buy your canvas, just make sure you have some sort of wood that you can put those cup hooks into. Let's get started. Too much talking, not enough crafting, right? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is cover this canvas. Now I'm going to cover it with a couple of different things and do some different mixed media stuff and just make it the way I want it because it's for my house. So I'm going to prepare my surface with some wax paper and we'll get started. Now if you have a craft mat, you don't need to worry about wax paper, but I am not a cleaner upper of messy things. I like to throw stuff away. So I buy cheap wax paper from the dollar store and then I just use it as my craft mat. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use some Mod Podge, and this is gloss, which I don't really care what kind it is because you're probably not going to see a lot of it. And I'm going to tear this bag into shreds. I may not need more than one, and I'm going to tear it into like fairly big pieces. I'm not doing like little tiny pieces. I love crafting with these bags. Isn't that crazy? I always save every one that they send me because I think this is a cool thing to have. So, yeah, that'll do. Alright, so now I have all of these pieces. Just going to go through and separate the ones that were on the corners and make myself a little pile over here. So I have my little pile of them here, and I've got my Mod Podge. I'm just going to open this up. And I'm going to pour some onto my canvas because I want this to be pretty wet. It may seem like overkill, but I really want it to be pretty wet because I want these guys to sink in really good into the background. And I'm going to I'm really literally decoupaging, which is, you know, what Mod Podge is for. So I'm going to coat it. Now, if you're working on a bigger surface, you would probably want to do this in sections, but this is such a small surface, and I'm really making this wet because I want it to really mold this paper to it, so I can work on a pretty big surface like this, which is really not that big. Yeah, this is an 8 by 10 canvas, so it's not that big. And now I'm going to start placing these guys on the surface. And where they overlap, I'm just going to rub some Mod Podge and stick down the next one. And I'm just going to keep going, making sure that I cover the entire piece. I do not care about wrinkles. Wrinkles are good. Don't you love when wrinkles are good? I wish wrinkles were always good in every situation, like my face. I don't even care which way they're going, like which direction. Does not matter to me. There's some good wrinkles starting. That's the reason I wanted it really wet, because I want some good wrinkles. Alright, so I got the whole front covered, and I tried to leave enough hanging off the side to be able to wrap it around, but if I can't, I'll just come back and do that with some more pieces. And now, I'm going to put more Mod Podge on top. I really want this sealed in. And I really am trying to do it messy. Now, because I don't like messy hands, I'm going to let this dry and then come back to it and do the edges. Because, you know, it doesn't take that long for Mod Podge to dry, but I don't want to mess with it when it's wet. So I'm going to let this totally go clear and come back, and then I'll start rolling it around the edges. I've got plenty of time. This is going to be a quick one, so I just don't want to get my hands nasty. But if you don't want to wait, you can just pick up the sides and go ahead and start doing this little turn down and getting the edges done. But I'm going to wait. So I'll catch up with you in a few minutes. Okay guys, so as you can see, I went ahead and wrapped this around the edges. In almost every spot I got it covered. I'm not worried about that little spot. I'll figure that out. And see how we got it almost covered all the way around? And so that is still sort of drying, so we're going to let that do its thing. These overlapped portions are still kind of drying, especially in this corner, but I'm impatient. So I'm just going to flip it over and get started and keep working. Now, while that's drying, let me show you this. You guys know I'm obsessed with my printed burlap, right? I love this stuff that you can print on, and it's from Beyond Measure, and I get it at Walmart. And I have noticed every Walmart I've been to, I always look and they always have it. Now, sometimes they have it online at Walmart and sometimes they don't, but they always have it in the store. And I printed this that says, when you come in blessed and when you go out, which is a scripture from Deuteronomy 28:6, and that's taken very loosely from context because this actually says, if you obey the Lord, you will be blessed. So if you are interested in this one, it's Deuteronomy 28, so you can go check out where this came from. But I love this because it's going to have to do with our keys, so when we come and go, we'll see this. So I think this is cool. So I'm going to move this away and let it keep drying. And I am going to trim this down. So what I'm going to do, I think, is just use an edge of my little guard here to kind of line me up where I want to go. And look how easy this cuts. Isn't that awesome? I love this stuff. I love this stuff. Okay, now then, I'm going to line this up. Put that away. Now, don't get rid of those little scraps because I use them like crazy. Those things can be used on mixed media pieces. You can use them on cards. These little scraps, they're good to keep. Don't get rid of them. Now, I went in and trimmed this much closer. See how close I got it? And then I'm going to take this packaging that it came in and use it as scrap for the back side. And I'm going to take one of these ink blenders, which you can also get at Tupelo Designs. And this is some vintage photo ink. Now, before I forget to tell you, I'm going to start listing below in my videos the stuff I'm using that's from Tupelo Designs. There won't be links to specific products just yet, but once the website is up in January, I'll probably be able to do that. But for now, I'm not able to. But in January 1st, the new website will go up, and so the Etsy store will not be there anymore except to sell these ink blenders, which are awesome if you don't have any. So let's get started. But if you're looking at any of the stuff I'm doing today and you're wondering what tool that is or where it came from, if it's from Tupelo Designs, I'll link it. And actually, if it's from Walmart, I'll put that down there too so you can go find it. Now here's what I'm doing. I just want to make this kind of messy on the edge, just kind of inky and messy to kind of stand out. Just kind of rough it up. And I'm actually rubbing it to try to get some of the threads to loosen because I like that. This burlap is laminated so it kind of holds it together in the back. But I like the roughness around the edges. So we get that. I like it looking like that. That looks cool. Okay. So now we have our blessed and we have our... I'm trying to decide which way I want to be up. I pretty much don't have this going. I think it's kind of in this direction. But I want to tell you too, I only used one bag for this. Now see how that blends? It blends really good, but I don't want it to blend that good. I want to have a pop behind it. So I'm going to take a cream colored piece of cardstock and cut it so I can, or actually tear it so it can go behind here. So I'll show you how I'm going to do that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put this down temporarily using some ATG. Now this is not going to be permanent, but it's just going to hold it there while so I can have it in place where I need it. And I'm going to give myself plenty of room because like I said, I want to tear the edges of this paper. And now I'm just going to start tearing. Now, I want the white edge to show on the top because I'm going to ink that as well. So when you tear, to get a white edge, you tear toward you. So I'm just going to tear this roughly like so. And listen, it's just paper. If you mess up, you can get another piece of paper. Do not stress. This is one of those things where people are like, well, what if I do it wrong or I don't get it just right? It's just paper. Now this piece of paper is from my stash, and it's from a Bo Bunny collection, and it was sent to me by a wonderful subscriber. And so I do not remember what collection it's from, but that's where it came from. Alright, so now when I bring this guy back over, let's see what we're looking like. I'm still a little bit big on the sides, so I'm going to trim that in a little bit. Let's see how that's looking. If I go straight across, that's really good. Like that. I like it like that. But I kind of like it angled too. I'm going to take this little tip off so I can angle it. Yeah, I like it angled. I think that looks good. Now I got to remember that's not glued down, so I got to glue that down. But now, before I glue that down, I'm going to open these up. And I'm going to use all 5 of these. Now, if you had, if you were giving this to someone who didn't have a billion people in their house that have a car, you wouldn't have to use all 5. But I have lots of people in my house that have cars, and we all need a place to put our keys. So I'm going to go ahead and put all 5 of these on. And my plan, I want to see which one I want in the middle. I think the square one is to put them down here, like so. Oh, I like the way that looks. I think I'm going to move you over here. Put you here. Nope. You here. You here. So those are going to be on the bottom like that. But you know what? They're really dark and you can hardly see them. So I'm going to try something. So remember I got this trim, which is so pretty. I'm going to see what that looks like underneath these guys. If I were to lay a couple of pieces of this down here, and then put these on top of that so you could really see them. See, that'll look good. It'll really pop, and it ties that cream into it. I'm going to do that. Alright, so it's time to plug up the hot glue gun. While my glue gun's heating, I'm going to glue this down because I don't really have to glue this with hot glue. And I'm going to put some of this sticky tape just as an extra precaution. I love this sticky tape. I don't know if Mike is carrying it this wide yet. You can check in his store. He does carry the sticky tape. You can check and see if he is. If he's not, ask him about it. They might can get it for you. This is some I had in my stash. Again, while the glue gun's heating up, I'm going to ink these edges. But I want this one to be inked not quite as dark, so I'm not going to wet my ink blending tool. I'm just going to use what's on it just to get a nice light inking, because I kind of want that cream to pop. Whatever gets on there does. So it won't be a whole lot there. I really like the way that's looking. And that will go here. Okay. Let's see how the glue's coming. So my hot glue is heated up. And I'm going to hot glue this piece down. I could probably Mod Podge it. But hot glue's quicker. I'm going to cut a couple of strips of this wide enough to go all the way across and wrap around. I love this trim so much. This is a Prima trim. Buff weave. It is gorgeous. Okay. So I'm going to take my bottom one right above that edge. Because I want a little bit of the bottom of the paper behind it showing. Just going to rub that in there. This is a low melt glue gun. If you're doing this with a high melt, ooh, this would burn you, but this is not bad. Then I'm going to just come behind it a little bit. Get that part stuck down. Then I'm going to do this one right on top of it. I think this will let those, the locks really pop. And the same thing, just run some glue behind it. I'm going to do the sides. I'm going to go ahead and glue it down in the back a little bit. So now I have a good place for those to lay. And I really love the color that that's doing. So I decided to put this guy in the middle. And I'm going to E6000 him down because he's metal. That way I can be sure that he will stay. He's not going to hold any weight. These little guys aren't, because I have cup hooks for that. But I still want them to stay on well. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and do my end pieces. And then I'll split the difference with the others. You don't feel middle anymore. Now you do. I mean, in all honesty, you probably could hot glue these because they're not going to get any weight. But maybe not. So those guys are on, and I really like that. And now then, let's look at these fellas. These little keys. I had thought originally that I would hang them from the bottom, and I'm still not sure, but I'm going to open them and play with them for a little bit. I think these look really cute up here too, just kind of laid around. Like that. And remember these guys? I know these are supposed to be poinsettias, but they're so pretty, and I think I may use them anyway. Because I don't think they have to be a poinsettia. Look at that. I did like a little... Kind of liking it. But you know what? I think I'm going to cut these centers out so that they really don't look like poinsettias. Let's see if we can do that. You can always alter things. Don't worry. If you get something you don't love it, just alter it. I do love them, but I don't want them to look like poinsettias. So let's see if we can give them a haircut. I did. Wasn't too hard either. Little haircut, and then I'll put something else in the center and they won't look like poinsettias anymore. It's really not hard to do. I'm going to show you what I'm doing, but I'm trying not to make a mess. I'm kind of folding the flower back, putting all of those little stamen in the scissors, and then cutting. So I kind of like these flowers here and there like that a lot. I'm gluing those down because I like them. Now I'm going to try to hot glue these keys and see how they do. I really think it's going to be fine. I'm going to put one in the center of that flower. I like this other big one too. So I have 4 of those left, but I think I'm going to save those for another project, and I'm going to try something else. So I have this bling, and I don't think this one really should use bling. I think this project is not a shimmery, shiny project, but I have a Spectrum Noir marker in EB8, and I'm going to color some of this bling for the centers of those flowers. And that way they'll have like an amber jewel, since I don't have an amber jewel in my collection. And I only need 2 of them. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to let that dry for just a second. It probably won't take long because that's those alcohol markers, and you know, we'll let it dry and then we'll put them in place. So these guys are ready to go, and I've put a tiny drop of hot glue in the center of those flowers. Now I'm just going to drop a sequin in. They're not sequins, they're bling. They're they're faceted gemstone things. I'm going to bring that up so you can see it. So see how that just turned them brown? And I love that in the middle. You know what makes this so cool as a gift is that there's not a color in here that would clash in someone's home. Now they might not like the rugged or the burlap or the vintage, but you don't have any bright colors that might not work in somebody's home. I know this would work in any floor or any room of my house. Okay, so as I was looking, I decided something. These holes where there should be like hardware to hold these on, I think the same sequin trick would be really pretty there. So what I'm going to do is color 10 of them with a marker, the same marker. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll just do this whole row. It's 11, but who knows? Might can use one. And then I'm going to glue these down like they are hardware. Okay, so you can see I've got them all on the other ones, and here's all I'm doing. I'm putting a dollop of hot glue in that little hole where a piece of hardware would normally go, on both holes. And then I'm taking one of the little colored pieces of bling and just putting it on there. And it's kind of neat because guess what? It's kind of actually acting like hardware. And here's the reason. The hot glue is going through the hinge to the back, and then when I push the sequin in, it kind of seeps around it like a washer. So it is actually going to hold that in place while the E6000 dries. That's cool. I'm going to bring this up so you can see it because I know those are very the same color. Aren't they neat? I'm in love with this guy. Alright, it's time to try to put the hooks in. And the idea for me was to put them kind of low in here. And I'm going to poke, this is the Tim Holtz craft pick. I'm going to poke that in and kind of whirl it around, and hopefully that will make a pilot hole for us. So I'm going to start to screw this in. Takes a second to get started, but once it gets started, you can feel it. Just kind of catches. I'm going to screw that in until it's facing upward. That's holding on too. Super cool. So I actually want my keys to hang from the lock itself. Isn't that neat? I love this. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. Let's do the next one. Now the last one. And guys, these have not given me hardly any trouble. And these are much bigger hooks than I probably would have bought if I had been at a different store. Now I do know this, do not over twist them because they will strip if you do. So get them in place and then leave them there. So check that out. Now we have all of our hooks in place. I love it, and I'm stopping there because I don't want anything else on it. And now I will show you pictures of it hanging on my wall. I hope you enjoyed this, guys. This is all pretty much things I got from Tupelo Designs. It's at least inspired by most of their products. And don't forget, January 1st, they will be moving from their Etsy store to their TupeloDesignsLLC.com store. So be sure to go check them out over there. So I hope you enjoyed this gift idea. I think this would be super fun and easy to make for everybody on your gift list. And who doesn't have car keys or house keys or some kind of key, right? All right, guys, thanks so much. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.